Hey, Gavax here. So a major part of MUT 19 and one of the best additions they had was the theme team chems to give players speed and other boosts and stuff to really kind of invest you into your own team. Now, this video is going to be about ranking the best theme teams at the moment in Madden 19. Obviously, if one team gets 20 cards over the next week, that completely changes the ranking. But for this moment in time, I'm going to rank the theme teams where they're at. Let me know what you guys' opinion is, like in the comments below, who you think's the best, who you think's the worst. I'm going to go through all 32 here. Big shout out to this user on Mudhead who's keeping the theme team list updated, Accidental Juke. And so it's keeping it updated by the date, recently updated. You can obviously go by overall if you want, but I'm going to rank them based on like how competitive they are. Now, a couple ground rules. A lot of teams' issues can be solved just by, juking the stats and giving some other, just putting some random MUT cards on the team and whatnot. But this is just the straight theme team if you're using that team's players. Hopefully EA can expand more on this stuff in the future to do more, like fill out a lot of these missing positions for a lot of teams. Even add more customizations. Maybe make theme teams based on colleges and boost on colleges. But that would take a partnership with the NCAA. And I don't know if NCAA is down for that. But anyways, there's a lot of things they can do with theme teams. But let's get to the list right here. Let's rank them. Let's start from the bottom and go to the top. So here is the Notepad best theme teams of Madden 19. We'll start at number 32. So who do I think's the worst theme team in Madden 19? Well, the unlucky few is the Cardinals, in my opinion. So going through, they don't have much on the offensive line or tight end. The wide receiver, you got Fitzgerald, who is kind of a change of pace wide receiver, not really a burner. Your quarterback sucks. You got a great running back. Your safety, your free safety is good. Your linebackers aren't the best. You got Dansby, who's a decent user. Buda Baker's decent back there. Good corners, but it doesn't really make up for the crap offense that you have. So a solid defense, with the exception of a couple positions here, but like a good secondary, which I know a lot of teams are missing. But yeah, you really can't move the ball very well on offense. So that is last, in my opinion, in the order of theme teams. So let's go ahead and put them on the board. Whoop, that's supposed to be Control V. All right, 31. Who is the second to worst theme team? As the meme goes, the Browns are getting great cards. So the Browns are the second to worst theme team in my opinion. So they're not the worst, which means actually not too much this year. They're actually doing well this year. I wanted to do the Browns joke that the Browns don't deserve any good cards anyways, but they are actually a good team now, winning games. So and tying them even against certain other teams we won't talk about. The offensive line, here's how I rank. So the most important position to me is quarterback. Then you go DB, user, like DB and user, like right there. So quarterback, wide receivers, DBs, user. Then I would rank your running back, front seven running back ish in that region, kind of a combo, and then last is offensive line. I don't think the offensive line matters that much if you're gonna go into a passing. So it's my I mean, it matters, but it is the last thing I look at, even though it's the first thing on the page. So that's kind of my ranking. You really need a good quarterback. Baker's okay. Wide receivers are very clutch, and so are DBs. So if a team doesn't have good DBs, they're gonna take a huge punishment in my rankings, even if they have a solid front seven. So because they just don't react to passes. This is an issue. The Browns don't really have that much in DBs. Their front seven is solid, with a couple of DeMario, McGinnis, Myles Garrett right there, or then a 93 Jabal Shear that can go over the left end. So a lot of guys can switch positions, but their offense, again, you're going to have trouble moving the ball besides your passing to Jarvis Landry. So that's why I think they are second worst. That's the, let's go to the Notepad. So 30th, who is the third to worst theme team? They've struggled this year, but they're kind of having like a not Super Bowl hangover-ish thing. So let's go back to the Jags, and they are the third worst. So let's go through their roster. Offensive line, whatever. Pieces there that are solid. You got Bortles leading your squad, which sucks. Your receivers aren't really playmakers. They got some speed, but not exactly the greatest. Fournette's solid. You got Corey Grant, who's fast. Also adds to the speed to them. Secondary sucks. You got decent outside linebackers, defensive linemen here, and cornerbacks are solid. But overall, nothing really like this, like that's crazy good. So they are my third worst at the moment. So next up, who is 29th? Colts. The Colts are right here. So we'll take a look at them. Bring you over to Chrome. Hopefully this isn't going to take too long for you guys. I hope you guys are as excited as I was to do this. So offensive lineman, terrible, but that's okay. Ebron, bad, or good, sorry. Luck, good. Receivers, very solid. The problem is your defensive backfield. You don't really have a lot of playmakers here. Your D-line, you only got Sheard, Hendricks there. So you got decent, like 4 of the 7. But your DBs really will be taken advantage of. So I didn't love the Colts here for that purpose. You can't really play defense that well. But your offense will be okay. Moving back, who is the 28th? I am going to go with the Bengals. And after this point, at a certain point, teams rapidly improve. So you'll start seeing fewer and fewer theme team misses and errors like that. So I'm going to put the Bengals here at 28. And offensive line, good tackles. Interior's okay. Tight end's good. Receivers are solid. Not like playmaker super. Andy Dalton's an L. So that's an unfortunate quarterback choice. Your DBs, major holes there. And your cornerbacks, you don't really have anything there either. So the Bengals might even be overrated. I like their wide receivers. They're not like I said, they're not playmakers, but I might even they might be too high even at 28. I may have put them a little too high. So I don't know. Bengals might go down a couple spots, but we'll leave them there at 28 for now. Dolphins is where I have here at the 27th spot. Now I know Josh has a Dolphins theme team, big fan of them. But, man, this is a struggle squad. So you have offensive line that's not that good. Tight end sucks. Your wide receivers are not good at all. Jarvis Landry's the only good one. You got good running back, quarterback combo. Dan Marino's a statue, though, so he's not like the many teams that have Vic on them. The Jones is good. McDonald's not. Your linebackers are rough. And your front 7 is pretty good. But decent corners there, too. Grimes is slow. A little faster this year than he has in past years. So, Dolphins, you got a rough squad, too. Moving back to my 26th ranked squad, it is going to be the Giants of New York or Jersey, whatever you wanna meme about that week. So the Giants of East Rutherford, where are you at? There you are. Take you open. So why are the Giants at 26? They got good playmakers. They got OBJ. I just hope Mudhead doesn't crash on me before I finish recording this video. I'll have to do it in stitches. So you got a great tight end. Your Sterling Shepard, he should be upgraded. Beckham, great. Barkley, great. Manning, good. A little worse than you like to see, but solid. You got Collins, good. You got you got a hole there, hole here. You got Lawrence Taylor, the best defensive player in the game. You have Strahan and Janoris. So there's quite a few holes on the Giants still, but you do have some like high-end players to kind of hopefully take advantage of a matchup issue. But you are going to be struggling against regular mutt teams of the world, Giants. So that's why you are rated so low. 25th, Panthers. You know, you'd think Panthers with the talent they've had are pretty decent. But when you look at the roster, there are a lot of issues with it. So the offensive line, a little better than average. Shockey, they got on that Panther squad too. Your offense looks very solid. I will give it to your offense. A lot of playmakers here, a lot of great players at each of the skill positions. Quarterback, halfback too, top end players. But your defense, yeah, you got some holes here, unfortunately. Colin Jones is bad. Thomas Davis probably needs an upgrade. Your 2 backers there are great. Your defensive line, solid. But yeah, your secondary is just porous, unfortunately. So wrong one again. So the Panthers come up at 25. Bills are going to be 24th. Little slight spoiler there before I got to it. So the Bills are 24th. Now, they've had a lot of players in their history. You know, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. They've got Jason Peters over here with his power up. He can move over. Clay, Benjamin, Reed. They got one great playmaker wide receiver. Owens works too. Marshawn Allen is not good. Allen really sinks the roster. That is tough having a quarterback like that. He sucks. Plain out sucks. Your defense looks pretty decent, though. You can move Hughes over here to left end. He'll be very competent. I like that Hughes card a lot. So your defense is good, but your offense really kind of drags down the whole team and really kind of blows it for the Bills. All right, next up on the list, who do we have? We have the people from Florida. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What are you working with, Tampa Bay? Let's take a look. It ain't the prettiest. Offensive line, terrible, with the exception of Dotson. Your O.J. Howard's a good tight end. You actually got Young, which is nice. You know, was it late career Young? Late career Young. Wait, was he traded to or from Tampa? Why am I blanking? From. And you got Keyshawn, Evans, and Deshaun. Sorry, I screwed up. I blanked for a minute. Peyton Barber, your running back's not very good, but you can move all stars. You're trucking the ones, and you got two good fullbacks. Lull. So your passing game will be pretty good. The problem is your secondary really kind of DBs are kind of holding you up. So otherwise, solid team. You need a left outside linebacker, but you can make that up by Brooks moving over. So good defense, except for your defensive back. So you're there. I mean, as we move up this list, you're going to start to see less and less holes, and more things are going to be picky about it. So number 22, Redskins. Now, Redskins are saved. They've never really had a good team or talent in the last couple decades, but they've been saved because current day they've bought a lot of free agents near the end of their career. Offensive line, decent except for center, right tackle. You got a good tight end. You're missing your wide receivers. You don't have any playmakers on offense. You got McNabb, though, and Adrian Peterson, both great cards. Krause, Clinton Dix, you can even move him over to strong safety, but Swearinger is solid, too. You got a good linebacker core. I mean, Preston's solid, not great. You have DBs out this world. Yeah. I mean, is this the best dime set in the game? This is probably the best dime set in the game. Bruce Smith, or it's probably up there. Bruce Smith as your interior rusher with Kerrigan off the edge, and yeah, maybe not a great front seven, but your DBs might be the best in the entire game. But the rest of it, rough. All right, so that's why I have you at 22 Redskins. Well, I guess we can add on. Oh yeah, Reuben Foster can be added on to them whenever they get a power up. So 21 Broncos. If he gets a power up, right? Broncos. I don't know if he will do that with his issues. All right, so offensive line. You'd think it'd be better with traditional how good their offensive line is, but we don't have a lot of offensive line legends. Shannon Sharp, very good. Thomas, Sanders, good wide receivers. Case Keenum sinks this entire roster. I think if we had like a John Elway card, I think this might be like a top 8, top 5 team around John Elway. Because look at the defense. The exception of right outside linebacker, but you can move DeMarcus there. Like, this defense is really nice. Well, I guess I guess this and the Redskins, I would argue, dime defense is right there. You got Vaughn and Ware coming off the edge, Chubb up the middle, then you tank one position. Maybe a Wolf. Does Wolf have good block shed? Potentially. Or Pecco. But then, like, your DBs, phenomenal DBs. So another good defense, but again, you're sunk by Case Keenum. If you had an Elway, I think this is a top 5 team. All right, go back to the notepad. The Tennessee Titans are 20th. So what is up with the Titans? Let's try and not forget them and remember them, and the joke's passed. All right, offensive line. Actually, a really solid offensive line. Move Spain over to right guard. Really one of the best offensive lines you'll see, right up there with other teams we'll get to in a little bit. Delaney Walker, again, another run blocking, great tight end, especially with the speed boost that team can. Marcus Mariota is good. I didn't love him, but he is a good receiver. You got Randy Moss late in his career, so he counts. Solid top end receiver with that speed. Corey Davis, good speed. So your wide receivers are fast, but you only got 2 good ones, 2 solid ones. But you do have Eddie George and Derrick Henry. So 2 guys that are basically the same. Good fullback for that. So a heavy running scheme is what you want to have on the Titans offense, which is, what they are in real life. You got Byard. You can move to strong safety if you keep Tatum there at free. You got decent linebackers. Woodyard can move out. So you can play like even, I don't know if you can play a 4-3 with Woodyard. I don't think he has pass rush stats. But otherwise, you got good defensive ends, but you're missing a second corner. Third corner sucks too. So your DBs kind of sink the rest of your team. And but overall, you got a pretty decent chance of competing against a lot of teams there with the Titans because of their playmakers. And if you like to run the ball, Titans would be the guys. Well, along with another one we'll get to. The Vikings are number 19. Vikings might be a little low in your mind since they're doing well. I mean, they've had a good couple years. They've struggled a little bit this year, but overall on their theme team, let's take a look. You've got 2 good guards, so you'd put Hutchinson there at right guard, have a good interior. Your tight end, really not that good. You got Moss, of course. Just beautiful guys. Beautiful offense here. If Peterson gets like a power-up or something, he'd be there. But A good offensive playmaker wide receiver, so you can throw the ball. Like I said, don't throw it to your tight end because he sucks. Your DB core, you can move Harrison Smith over to strong safety. Where's your Anthony? Oh, there's your Anthony Barr. Your linebackers struggle a little bit. Kendrick's an okay user. Your front four are phenomenal, right? Like, is this the best front four in the game? The Purple People Eaters? I would say it gives a run to the money. I think this might be the most complete top end front four in the game. And then you got Rhodes and Waynes there. Waynes doesn't really play that well, but he's fast, so that's cool. And your nickel kind of sucks too. So your DB kind of ruins the rest of your roster, your DBs, and then a little bit of in here. So Vikings I put at number 19, number 18. The Seahawks. Seahawks are here at 18, so let's bring them up right on up. Now, why are the Seahawks bad? They were so good just a couple years ago, but let's see. Their offensive line, traditional, terrible, last couple years, terrible offensive line. But they have had Hutchinson of the past. They get like a Walter Jones. You can shore up that side. Jimmy Graham, very good tight end, high point pass, even though it just got nerfed. It's still, I would guess, still okay. Jerry Rice, Marshawn Lynch, Russell Wilson, Franco. Your receivers are good, but they're not like... Jerry Rice is very good, right? He is a explosive threat to every team, especially with a speed boost. Golden Tate, pretty solid too. I didn't actually love using him, but with plus 3 speed, you might change your mind. Russell Wilson was a good quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the game. Earl Thomas, your secondary it's got a hole. I guess Shaquille's okay. Trey Flowers sucks, but you got 3 great secondary players. The speed boost really helps bring up Sherman. Your linebackers are just really, really Bobby Wagner. You would probably put Griffin out here to be more speed for you. Your front few guys, a little bit of letdown there too, except for John Randall. So overall, I think it's a decent team, but nothing that's like burning down the barns with overwhelming talent. All right, so that's why I have Seahawks at 18. Number 17, moving on to the Chargers. The Chargers, what do you got first? Oh, come on, bring it up. It was the second LA team. Bad offensive line. Great tight ends. Wide receivers are good, but not out of this world great. I would say I like them, but they're not great. You can choose which guy you want, which statue in the pocket you're favoring. Your running backs are very good. These two, you got a good fullback. Your secondary kind of let you down there. Derwin James is good. Your linebackers suck. And your cornerbacks are actually pretty good. And you got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram on the pass rush, which are, great. I love that Joey Bosa card. So maybe your linebackers sink you a little bit more. Maybe these positions I could have rated you a little bit lower. I'm not so sure, but your offense is very well rounded with the exception of your offensive line. So I like that part. Overall, that's why I rated them at number 17. So number 16, who we got? Halfway home. Lions. The Lions, I'm not lying when I tell you that they are decent. So, Lions here. Bring it over to Chrome. Bad offensive line, bad tight end. Good skill positions. Really good. Bad. They're DBs, but your CBs are phenomenal. So, you're okay. Decent in the middle here with the defensive tackles. That's all I want to say about that. That's really what there is to say about, your offensive skill positions basically carry you. Even you got Galladay. Go 4 wide. Don't use any tight ends. 4 wide and Barry Sanders. And your offense is money. Money in the bank. All right, 32. All right, we're going to number 15 with a team near and dear to my heart, the Steelers. All right, Steelers. Unfortunately, I wish they were higher. They've got enough legend cards. They got a high overall. The problem is their high overalls are interior linemen. They're linemen. Pouncey can move out to guard. I don't know if I worry about the awareness hit moving offensive lineman, but he can move there, provide a slight increase. Offensive skill positions are a little underwhelming. You look at them 91, 93. They're not exactly like Blazers. I love Blazers. Getting their speed up to 92, 93 will make them much better, but they're not exactly like Tyreek Hill. Le'Veon Bell is outdated right now. James Conner's terrible because he's got no break tackle. Franco Harris is great, though. Franco Harris can play tight end for us or fullback or running back if you like trucking. I would put Michael Vick here at quarterback above anything else, but here's the thing that really kills this roster. Why their front 7 is phenomenal. Those 3, and then these guys. but they are absolutely barren at safety and corner. They got Rod Woodson, that's it. But yeah, so the theme team, I wish it were better. It really needs some DBs to make it remotely competitive. So Steelers, I may have actually overrated them because of just how many holes those DBs are. And trust me, you do not want to play with bad DBs in this game. All right, so next up are the Texans. But the thing is, like, a lot of teams have DB issues, so it's tough to rate them too low based on that because of their phenomenal front seven and quarterback, wide receiver, maybe. I don't know. I think of it. I would definitely choose higher on list teams. Texans, right here, not impressive. Right here, yeah, fairly impressive. I like the combo. We got speed, playmaking ability. Running back Lamar is not the greatest, but you got Watson there, who's very solid. Your defense makes up for things. I mean, Ed Reed, great. Merciless, great. Your linebackers are great. You got J.J. Watt here. Yeah, these positions aren't anything to really hit home, but you got Boye and Joseph off the edge. Joseph is kind of a letdown, but hopefully Ed Reed can make up for him. And Swearinger, you can even move like Matthew down to corner, and then Swearinger or add over to free Swearinger to strong, and really make up for it. Your defense is tippity top, with the exception of maybe a lineman that you need to kind of work around. So Texans, wonderful team. All right, 13. We're going to Jets, Jets. So what are the Jets working with? What kind of old power-ups? They got lucky because they got a Keyshawn Johnson, which changes their entire offense. Means they got Vic, LT, Roby, who's fast, Lorenzo Neal, good lead blocker, and then a Keyshawn, a number one wide receiver. Otherwise, their offensive line's only got really two standouts or good players. Tight end sucks. Their defense, though, they got Ed Reed again, Demario Davis, Avery Williamson is solid. Their front few players, they can really eat some blocks there. Then they got some good DBs here. So a very good secondary with good players to stop the run there. And then you got Michael Vick. I mean, having a playmaker like Michael Vick instantly boosts you up the ratings. Like you'll see a lot of teams have Vick that are options, and you want to use the Vick. You want to use the fast because he's the best quarterback in the game. I think, and still my opinion, most well-balanced once he hits those thresholds. He gets the extra speed. Yeah, he's off to the races. So I do like this team. It's playmaker ability. It does look like it's got some holes in it, but holes that are like filled up, right? Some guards. Yeah, that's fine. But that's why they're not any higher on the list, because they have some decent playmakers. Maybe 13 might be a little high for the Jets, but I'm sticking with it. Saints here for number 12. So the Saints, even though they are maybe the best team in the league right now, I put them at number 12 for the theme team. Now, why is that? Let's look through it. I mean, there's nothing against them. Good tackle, and they got backup. You can move into guard. So you have four good offensive linemen, a great tight end, number 1 and 2. Receivers make plays, Cooks fast. Drew Brees is a statue, unfortunately. You got Ricky Williams and Kamara to back him up. A good lead blocker. Your defense is the issue, specifically defensive backs. These guys are terrible. 81, 82. You got Lattimore. You got one good player, two good players. Von Bell is good too. So really, you got a hole here. Your right end's a hole. But overall, I mean, the reason the rank's so high is because they got players that can play well out here, the Malcolm Jenkins types. But they do have, unfortunately, some holes on defense that are kind of keeping them from going much higher than they are. And a quarterback that can't really get up and move very much, like the Vic, who I think is just super powerful. I mean, if staying in the pocket's your way of playing Madden, then he's fine for you. But I think the more powerful play is to scramble. All right, next up on the list, the Ravens. Now, these guys have a pretty darn good, as you'd expect, defense. So what's holding them back? A little bit of a little bit of lack of playmakers. Their offensive line's very good. Missing a center, though, that's any good. Juszczyk, probably the best fullback in the game. Ricky Williams, of course, you guys know his power. Lamar Jackson, I love that card. Your wide receiver, Steve Smith. This is terrible right here. Your wide receivers. He's got speed, though, so that's pretty decent. But look at your defense. That is a goddamn beauty. Look at those 90s across the board. Even your middle linebacker good. These three suck, though. Really, really drag down your defensive line. Really, so you want as few of these guys on the field as possible. So maybe sticking to like a nickel. You can even go dime with Jimmy Smith, but I'd say nickel and then have like these two guys rush. And I think that's kind of where you want to be. And so I have this few of these guys ruining your lineup as possible. All right, next up on the Ravens. But overall, that Ravens team, very good looking. Bears at number 10. So how did the Bears make it to number 10? Well, they've gotten a lot of cards in the last few weeks. They've won a lot of games, so they've been getting upgrades. Interior line, good guards. Tight end, very good. Trubisky, it's all right. Robinson, Jeffrey, good run blocker. Walter Payton, phenomenal. Jordan Howard, very good. He just got a primetime performer. They got Cohen behind that. Is your receiving back. But you got the best strong safety in the game right there. Even speed boosted. Yeah, phenomenal. Your linebackers, good. Trevathan, Urlacher, hopefully he gets an upgrade soon. Eddie Jackson, great player. Should be getting more upgrades as it comes along. You got Fuller, Amukamara, Mack, Page. So overall, a very solid, well-balanced team. This might be a little high for them compared to, I don't know, maybe the Ravens are better than the Bears. I should potentially switch them around, but I think the Bears are fine. We'll keep the Bears where they're at 10, but I might even put them right down to 12. I might looking at it again, thinking about it longer. Bears might be better at 12 than 10 because the Ravens and Saints are pretty solid. But number 9, I'm going to put the Cowboys. So let's go ahead and take a look at how them boys are doing. And Cowboys theme team. You do have some playmakers. You got Keyshawn, Cooper, Owens with those speed boosts, Dak. Good quarterback. I thought he was very solid for me. Elliott, Eddie George, so you got a good 1-2 combo there. Your tight end sucks. Unfortunately, no Witten. But your offensive line, if you move Larry Allen over here to guard, this is probably the best offensive line theme team. You only have one real mistake here at right tackle, but he can hold his own, I think. But overall, the rest of your line dominates once you move Larry or Zach over to fill his role. Your defense, not bad with the exception of your free safety, strong safety. But the rest of this, you got corner. Even he can move to safety there to cover up a little bit of your hole. You got a good end there to rush the passer. 82 is okay, nothing special. You got 2 great outside backers and a good user here in Jalen Smith. So solid overall team for the Cowboys. I think that team is very competitive too. Number 8 will be the Raiders. All right? As I do my best, Chris Berman, but I'm terrible at impressions, so go ahead and make fun of me in the comments. Raiders, offensive line, good interior. You're tight. Sorry, I got to bring you guys over. Good interior here with these two. Otherwise, there's nothing really write home about. Jerry Cook, solid, not spectacular, but you do have playmakers. You got Moss, Rice, Brown at wide receiver. You got Lynch right there. Derek Carr, I thought he was a little overrated when I used him, but still a solid. If you're okay with lefties, you're good with him. Jack Tatum, phenomenal. Best free safety in the game with those boosts. Ted Hendricks, very good. The extra speed only helps that Stork get to balls. Carl Joseph, good, hard hitting. He should probably get an upgrade soon, too. I don't know. How's he been playing this year? I don't know. You got corners that can do some damage, that play well for you. So your secondary won't get exposed too bad. Your front few players, especially in nickel packages. I think this team is made for nickel packages, which is basically the meta right now because they have the perfect 2 D linemen. You got Hendricks here. Actually, I don't know who your other passer should be. Probably, yeah, you'd probably have to use one of them, Golden or Irvin, I guess, on the edge. Then use Long and Mac would be an edge. Irvin would be a ledge. Long would be in the middle. Oh, Hendricks would have to be a drop guy. Yeah, so you'd have one bad pass rusher, but then you'd have a good secondary. So I think the Raiders, for where this game plays, is phenomenal in it. But we've got 7 better teams. Weird, huh? Falcons, I put at number 7. Now, why Falcons? Well, they do have one guy that can absolutely shut down people's Tyreek Hills. Deion Sanders. God dang it. Deion Sanders right here. Perfect. Matchup by speed, go. You've got Mike Vick at quarterback. I take him over Ryan in a heartbeat. You got Freeman and Coleman, both speed boosted. Julio Jones the same. Ridley, both speedy. One of the best tight ends in the game. Offensive line, that's okay. It's got a couple holes here, but it's solid. It can't be perfect. You got 2 good linebackers there. Your free safety and strong safety aren't great, but they'll hold. You can always rely on your CBs to really play a lot of the deeper stuff for you. So good defensive line. Grady Jarrett, Poe, Takaris, not out of this world playmakers there, but good. I'd say just good. So Falcons are number 7. Number 6, I was kind of surprised because I don't feel like these guys are getting a lot of cards, but then I looked at the roster. I'm like, oh wait, the Packers are pretty good. Once I ended up looking at them with all their diamonds and stuff and power ups. So they got Sitton, offensive line, good except for Kofi right here. Jimmy Graham, good tight end. I guess Cook doesn't have a power up. He was there for that big Dallas game. The Jordy Nelson, you got very good receivers here. Not like upper echelon, but I'd just say like very good, right? There's like very good and there's like Moss level, which is really what you want to go and get the playmakers. Rodgers, solid quarterback still. Aaron Jones, thankfully they got an Aaron Jones, or else the running back situation would be pretty bad. Fackrell, Hendricks, Clay Matthews, you can move over here to right outside linebacker or put him at middle linebacker. User, one of those guys. Clinton Dix, Hyde, Jair, Casey Haywards. You got decent corners. Your defensive linemen are very good right here too. So a well-balanced roster, one that I think could be very competitive. Like I don't see any major holes for the Packers with the exception of an offensive line spot. But like this is just a well-balanced all-around team without the absolute like top end guys like the LTs. But every position has a solid guy playing there for you. So yeah, Packers theme team. Yeah, giddy up. All right, number 5. We're getting into like the superstars. The Chiefs right here at number 5 is what I'll put. Bring you over to the Chiefs. So why do I have the Chiefs at number 5? Their offensive line's got a couple good positions. 2 of them specifically. Tight end, Kelsey. All right. And Gonzalez. Whoa. So they got 2 of the top tight ends in the game there. You can even move them out at wide receiver if you don't run 2 tight end sets. But you have the best receiver in the game on this team in Tyreek Hill. You can get him up to 99 speed fairly easily with the Chiefs. Mahomes, top-end quarterback, top-end halfback, top-end fullback, and you got some decent other receivers with some speed here with Conley. You have Eric Berry, top-end, strong safety, top-end left outside linebacker, right outside linebacker, middle linebacker. You kind of struggle there, but you can use Houston over here, right outside linebacker, as your pass rush. You do not have holes at cornerback. Those are very good players, and Orlando Scandrick there. You could probably move Orlando Scandrick back to like free safety, and then move like Kendall up to number 3, or do the opposite. Your front linemen, Poe and Jones, dudes are block eaters. Great players right there. Left end, maybe you're struggling a little bit with Bailey, but overall, like the talent and the top end talent spread across this whole roster for the Chiefs makes them a very deadly theme team. All right, moving on to number 4. Eagles. Woo! Fly, Eagle, fly. All right, what do you got, Eagles? What are we working with on your roster? Jason Peters, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. So you kind of got like every other, like, and then, Brandon ain't too bad here either, but it's not bad, like checkers almost. Boop, boop, boop. So 4 solid offensive linemen, and then kind of like, a top end, tight end. You have Golden Tate, Alshon T.O. And these are the reasons why it isn't any higher, because these guys aren't exactly like what I'd say like the top end playmakers. I would have McNabb or Vic start over Carson because I like the mobility. Your running back situation sucks, which mirrors real life. Your DBs, dudes, love it. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, so your lack of playmaker wide receivers and maybe a hole at cornerback here, and Darby's just solid. Kind of take your team down, but you got great backers right there. Those 2 for like a nickel formation, and then you got a good front pass rush here with White, Curse, Fletcher Cox, and I guess you could rotate in Barnett too. So Eagles, very good talent spread across the whole roster. Not a whole lot of holes except for halfback, 1 offensive line, and then maybe like a couple players on defense are less than you'd like to see. So that's why I rate Eagles so high. Very good team though. Number 3, who do we got? Who you guys thinking? 49ers. All right, 49ers theme team. Started out the year as the best, but really hasn't had a lot of upgrades. I think it has to do with them losing a whole lot of games and not really progressing since Jimmy G went down. Offensive line, though, they got 1 good guard. The rest of it, less than ideal. 2 good tight ends. George Kittle's up there, especially with the extra speed, is one of the best in the game. And then a blocking tight end also. You can put Kittle at wide receiver, but you're not going to need him because look at these top-end wide receivers. You do have the Moss, speed boosts. Steve Young, solid. You can use Garoppolo 2 there. Carlos Hyde. McKinnon is phenomenal with his speed. So he'll have, 96 speed with the theme team. Then you get John Madden, 97 sprinter. So this is a 99 speed halfback if you go all out with the 49ers theme team. Hyde's good too. Juszczyk, like I talked about, one of the best fullbacks in the game, if not the best, probably the best. You have Kevin Green, Reuben Foster there at the linebackers. Ronnie Lott, phenomenal. You have 3 good DBs there. So if you play like a 4-3 or you play like a 3-4, you move Rod Woodson to strong safety with Sanders and Sherman there, along with Bryant Young, Buckner. I might put Buckner out here in place of Cassius, but then very, very, very talented team across the board in that state. So love the 49ers theme team right now because, McKinnon is a glitch. But let's go back. So 49ers, who could be better than that? Well, look at real-life teams that are doing really well. Who is number 2? I am putting the Patriots theme team at number 2. It should be obvious who number 1 is. And we'll get to that in a second, though. Patriots. So it always feels like the Patriots don't get a lot of cards for some reason for how dominant they are. But when you look, just like the Packers, it's like, oh, wow, this team's actually pretty darn good. A good center to right side of the offensive line with some decent players over here. Nothing. That's kind of a dead card right there. But Thoney can pretty hold. Gronk, great tight end. Kind of a balanced guy, a little bit slower edge, but the +3 speed helps. They have Randy Moss and Brandon Cooks. Edelman, I'd move to the slot, but Cooks right there, woo! You got that speed off the edges, and then the guy like Edelman, you got Brady. Unfortunately, he can't move. So while Brady is amazing for pocket passers, for more like Madden type of players, roll out the pocket, not great. James White, phenomenal receiving back. Sonny Michel, okay. You got Chung there. You got McCourty. You have a great linebacking core. The middle linebacker could be a little better. You can move Van Noy there, or maybe move one of these guys to user there. Your front 3, you got 3 Flowers move to your left end, so you'd have 3 amazing players right there. Your DBs, Ty Law, Malcolm Butler, McCourty, and Gilmore. So even you could actually put Malcolm Butler there at strong safety. And I mean, this is just a complete team, isn't it? The exception of maybe defensive tackle, middle linebacker, but left tackle, I guess, is the biggest weakness. But my goodness, does this Patriots theme team look just crazy, right? Give them all +3 speed, top end playmakers, plus solid cards in almost every single position. Yeah, this Patriots is almost a complete. They just need a left tackle. So maybe like a soldier gets a power up. All right, moving back, number 1. You guys know number 1. Rams. What? But of course, Taiwan above all. But number 1, let's go through the Rams roster before we talk for the rest of the night about Taiwan. But we'll do that on our own time. Rams. Why are Rams on? I think they're tied for the highest overall, 90 overall. So right there, with the Eagles. So right up there with overall, does look like it matters a bit for number 1. That's Patriots, your Rams. So Rams, your offensive line, good across the board, especially the right guard. Your tight end sucks though. So you could argue for the more balanced side of Patriots, but I do love everything else about your roster. Woods, Cooks is phenomenal. So you got good cards there. Gurley, best back in the game in my opinion is Todd Gurley. You have great secondary players, Kevin Green, and then your pass rush is bonkers. Like this is just God tier. And then your DBs here. Your defense right here. Insane. Those guys off the edge, just Donald, Deacon, Sue in the middle. Brocker's there too, rushing the passer. You got Kevin Green that can pass rush. Yeah, I like it. Barron's a good user. Joyner. Yeah, you can even move Tremaine back to strong safety or move one of these guys to strong safety. But yeah, that's you got the best defense in the game in my opinion. And then your offense follows it up. So the only disappointing part would be the tight end. You could argue for the Patriots over them because of the tight end position, but I would rather go with the Rams theme team than the Patriots just because of the defense. But man, yeah. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comments. I apologize for how long we talked. Wow, almost 40 minutes. That flew by for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So let's go back to the list one more time. We will review it. Let me know if I got it right, got it wrong. Of course, I got it right with Taiwan, but the rest of it, here it is. Hopefully, like I said at the top, EA pays more attention to theme teams in the futures, kind of shores up the positions that they don't actually have on the roster, so you can get a full 52-man roster, or substitute with other players if you want to do more of a hybrid theme team. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Call to action. Check out the description for that Mudhead post, and I will see you guys tomorrow.